All right, so obviously one of the things that defines us all as action figure collectors is the fact that we're really nitpicky, right? We like our figures to be, I guess you could say, correct. We have a tolerance for how much figures can be off model or, not look like their screen or comic counterpart. So I usually try not to. I usually don't make videos about being extremely nitpicky, but I had some conversations with other fellow collectors about the upcoming Hasbro Cantina cardboard diorama Sears reissue from 1978. Well, looks like I'm not the only one being nitpicky on this one. Let's take a look. Well, welcome back to Spector Creative. It is always a wonderful day when you join us here. Thank you for providing us with your time today and sharing, because that's the best way to for us all to get together. It's appreciated. Hope your day is going as wonderful as ours. I'm talking today about the recent Hasbro 2025 Cantina 4-pack. Basically, I guess you could say it's an homage to the original 78 Sears catalog Cantina, which was notorious for being the home of blue, tall Snaggletooth. All right, so just super quick background. These were Cantina aliens from the original 1978. Well, actually, the Cantina aliens didn't come till later. They weren't. They were in 79 and 80. But this was a Cantina cardboard diorama that was available in the Sears catalog, and it came with four polybag figures. It came with Walrus Man, it came with Greo, it came with Hammerhead, and it came with Blue Snaggletooth, which we all know is the infamous incorrect Snaggletooth. He's supposed to sort of look like this, and the reason he doesn't is because they sculpted this figure off of a black and white image of his torso up. They didn't even have his legs, so they assumed this is what he looked like. And when Lucasfilm saw it, they said, no, you need to resculpt him, and they did. So not only did he get a new body, but even his feet are different. Instead of boots, he's got furry feet. All right, so yeah, that was where this infamous Blue Snaggletooth came from. And this new pack from Hasbro is repainting modern vintage collection figures in the colors of the original figures. And this is something I've wanted Hasbro to do for years. They did a Boba Fett like this about a year ago. Granted, they knocked up the SRP on it because it was a customized item. First time I spent $25 on a basic figure. But heck, I'd been waiting years for them Hasbro to be like, oh, what if we just repaint our figures in classic Kenner colors? You could do Tatooine Luke and give him bright yellow hair. It's very simple. I never thought this was much of a stretch. In fact, it was usually less deco than a standard vintage figure, so it would be less expensive. All right, so if this is something I've been looking forward to for years, why am I nitpicking and not exactly ecstatic about this set? Well, let's kind of go figure by figure here. All right, let's start with, we'll start with Greo. All right, so here's our original Greo figure. And, you'll notice that obviously compared to the new one, yes, they use the new vintage sculpt that is currently exclusive to the HasLab Cantina. More's the pity. This should definitely get wider release, the Greo release, that is. And much like they did with the 6-inch line a few years back, they've repainted him in classic Kenner colors. But they've made the same mistake they made with the 6-inch Greo, is that they continue to keep giving him a holster. One, the vintage figure clearly doesn't have a holster. And two, he doesn't have a holster in the movie. Greedo's never had a holster. Ever. There are Rhodians walking around Mos Eisley and seen in Docking Bay 94 with holsters, but that's not Greo. He's dead, right, at that point. Pretty sure he's dead. McClunky. So, yeah, simple thing. Just remove the holster. Why are they giving us the holster? If you're going for a vintage look, I mean, yes, we could remove it, afterwards ourselves. But like I said, I'm nitpicking here, and I wasn't going to make this video just to nitpick until I found almost all of my fellow toy fans also felt the same way. All right, so that's the issue with Greo, and it's like I've got nitpicks with all of these. Let's talk about Walrus Man. All right, so Walrus Man, they've repainted the vintage collection Ponda Baba, but if you look at the way they've done him, is they've just painted blue down his sleeves, which that was, to me, that was really jarring because, yeah, he should just have blue sleeves, right? And an orange kind of vesty shirt. They could have repainted, they could have given him fully blue sleeves. There's no reason there had to be a blue stripe. He's got blue sleeves. If they're going for vintage colors, go for vintage colors, not inspired by. It's sort of like go big or go home, go all the way. Don't half-ass it. Hammerhead, to me, isn't as big of a deal. I never had the vintage Hammerhead. I borrowed this from my next-door neighbor, who's also a Star Wars collector. Thank you very much, Tab, for loaning me your Hammerhead and your blue Snaggletooth. Not mine either. Handling it with care, Tab. All right, so the new Hammerhead, based obviously on the new vintage collection mold that just came out. I didn't have as much of an issue. I liked, it was kind of cool seeing him in blue, but some of my fellow collectors pointed out that, the new one correctly has sleeves, whereas the old one does not, and they would have liked new tooled arms. And I could understand that this was a non-tooled set, right? So they couldn't do something like new arms, but I get that. If you're really going for accuracy, new upper arms would have been appreciated. Understanding this is a redeco only, so I can kind of forgive that. Not so much, though, the last one that I feel like is the most violating is our Snaggletooth figure. All right, so let's talk about this Snaggletooth. Well, sort of. Actually, this Snaggletooth. So you already know the issue with how this one became this one. The other issue with Snaggletooth is... So this is the vintage collection one that they repainted in blue to make blue Snaggletooth. But we've got a couple issues. One, the vintage, or the Kenner Snaggletooth was, this one, was actually based on the character from the holiday special. I'll put the link at the end of this video explaining it all. But this figure here is a modern figure based on the holiday special. And you could see, for example, he has the insignia on his belt, right? That they both have that insignia. That was actually the artist that was on his business card. That's where it came from. So to correctly do blue Snaggletooth, it would actually be closer to this. So this was the previous modern blue Snaggletooth that came in a 3-pack with the Cantina bar sections. But you'll notice a big thing they did is, one, they made him a little bit taller. Correct. Okay. And they gave him silver boots, which is correct to this. So basically, this version is, designed to be an homage to this. Correct belt, correct boots, correct face. All right. The current version is a repaint of this Snaggletooth, which is the movie one, not the holiday special version. There are actually 2 Snaggle teeth in the Cantina. What are they? Oh, I forgot their species name. I'm sure I'll remember it when I finish this video, or someone will put it in the comments. And Snivian, is that it? Snivians. So there's 2 Snivians in the Cantina. They're both very dressed alike. One has more of a hump than the other one. But by repainting this figure, it's not quite this this guy either. It doesn't have the belt buckle. It's the wrong head. So yeah, and obviously, he does have the boots because this guy's got the boots, but we still don't have this guy without the boots. I know, it's all confusing. Like I said, these are nitpicks. These are small issues, but I feel like if they're going for these homages, if you're going to go for the decoing figures based on the original Kenner look, you go all the way. Don't just do homages. Go in and paint Ponda Baba's arms orange, and do blue Snaggletooth, make him taller and give him silver boots and the correct belt buckle and the correct head, because this is not Snaggletooth from the movie. This is from the holiday special. Prove it, see? Right here. And look at the card art. It exposes it. So yes, there's two different Snaggle teeth, and then there's the blue guy. So it does, I get why it gets confusing, but come on, there's enough of us out there that know what's going on. Hasbro, you could call us up. I know you actually have fans on your approval council. They should know about this. All right, what do you guys think? Am I nitpicking, or does Greo really should he have had his holster removed before he's shipped? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. It's always wonderful. And spread these videos. Share them. It's the best way to support this channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.